Just let me
Daniel,
know.
you want to intro it or you want me to intro it?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right, but do it good this time, please.
Okay, cool. If I don't do it good, then you can do it.
Yeah. Okay, you're good.
All right, welcome back to the eighth official podcast, right? Eighth or
I've
seventh?
got no clue, man.
Yeah, I
I just
think I
edit the
remember
videos.
saying sixth the last time. I can't remember if that was
That
right
means
or
it's probably the eighth.
it's probably the eighth.
Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah,
Carl and Melissa. Not Melissa. Carl and Melanie.
yeah,
Spidey.
yeah.
Who was the third episode?
Um,
mm,
I remember.
dude, I'm sorry if you were the
Oh,
third episode.
no, Rhea and
Rhea and Emily. Fourth
yeah,
episode, Rhea and Emily again.
yeah,
Fifth episode,
Curry Mom.
Curry Mob. Sixth episode with Ryan, which if you guys didn't see the sixth episode, go listen to that one. It's actually really good. Me and Kiro did a segment that we had planned on doing on the Spider-Man episode, and it ended up being the entire interview. It's called Drive-Through Interviews, and we went through McDonald's. Not really, but we did a drive-through interview with Ryan that was supposed to be about showers, just a random off-topic interview. And it turned into a talk about cryptocurrency and targeted advertising. And I think it was a really interesting conversation. And I think it's really something we should be talking about because it's a very not cryptocurrency, that thing's dead, but advertising and just the state of the world and the market
Yeah,
and the economy.
definitely. Like like Firefest, man. Did you hear about Firefest?
Fire Festival?
Yeah,
Dude, that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
I know. Yeah,
That was astounding. Like,
yeah. It was crazy how successful it was in a sense, of
dude, my
course.
little brother's snoring hard. Guys, in case you don't know, it's a late night here at Downtown Coolsville. It's at
3 in
3
the morning.
a.m. It's just
Yeah.
me and Daniel today, just some hot takes. We just thought, let's sit down and talk. This is kind of how we intended it. Just in the beginning, it was just me and Daniel in class talking. And we felt like we had some pretty good flow of mind, I guess.
I remember one day after school, me and you went to a Whataburger, and I bought us some burgers.
Whataburger, but okay.
Same thing.
It's
And
a
mm, um, and we were talking, and I remember saying like, dude, we need to be writing down what we're saying because this would be a good episode for
yeah,
a
and this
podcast.
sounds like really pretentious, actually.
No,
But
and
actually,
then
someone else came
yeah,
and they
yeah,
sat with
someone ended
us
up coming on.
and they were like, "Yeah, actually, like this is really interesting. Like, I would listen to you guys talk because me and Daniel talk about the stupidest stuff. I
Oh
guess you're
yeah,
gonna get a glimpse of that right now because
probably.
we just, especially at 3 a.m., man, you don't
Oh,
know what's gonna come out. But
I remember you saying we should start doing our interviews at Whataburger. Or
yeah.
at the beginning, at that day, on that day, like we should just do our podcast at Whataburger.
But so you're gonna hear my little brother snoring. We share a room.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, it's a really sensitive mic. There's stuff that Discord doesn't catch that the mic catches.
Oh, okay.
But we're actually looking into upgrading our mics and maybe getting a studio, not a studio, but recording in person one day if we can. And if not, just like having better mic quality would be astounding.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
But we'll figure all that. I've been looking for like maybe over a month for microphones on like Let Go and Offer Up and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good deals out there, but some of these microphones, guys, are just horrible. I'm using a Blue Yeti. It's not terrible. It picks up a lot of good audio, um, but it also picks up a lot of bad audio. I also don't have a pop filter or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I know I've listened back before and been disgusted because I can hear how wet my mouth is.
Yeah, I was
You probably
listening
heard
to
it right there. That was
was
weird.
listening to a recording the other day. I was like, do I really sound like that?
Yeah, I think it's really weird how different our voices are to other people
Yeah.
and to ourselves. Because whenever you talk, there's the combination of like the vibrations in your skull that
Yeah.
change the way you hear your own voice compared to how other people hear your voice. Like my voice is like really high.
Hmm.
At least I feel like it is. But when I listen back, there's times where it's like sort of low, and I'm like, I didn't think I sounded like that at all.
Yeah. I know.
But
Yeah, I remember when I first reading about like why it's different and so that. I mean, it's crazy, but
yeah,
makes sense.
the camera adds 10 pounds, and the mic
And
adds
then
10
yeah.
hertz. I don't know. This is like the most. This is like the longest intro ever. We were. I don't even know. Whatever. Just welcome back to.
Uh,
Anyways, what were we talking? Firefest advertising.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Firefest. That was awesome.
yeah, that's great. I watched the documentary about
There
it.
was a documentary on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
an interesting story. Just I didn't watch the
yeah.
documentary. There's this guy on YouTube called the Internet Historian.
Hmm.
He makes hilarious videos about like really popular internet sensations and stuff, and he made a video on it. It was like a documentary, and I would recommend it to anyone. Or
You
the
know,
or the Netflix documentary. What did you think about that, Daniel?
it was good. I mean, I think I watched two different ones by accident somehow, and
You just thought it was one documentary?
yeah, I don't know, but it was good the way that they um I was watching it to make a connection. I was watching The Social Network, the
Yeah, the
movie
one about excuse me,
by
the one
Zuckerberg.
about Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Mark. Yeah.
the I forgot what was his name, but the investor who was like, legend for like making the I forgot which website it was, but that you could like download music for free. And now he was a billionaire at one point, but he was actually in real life he was just poor, and like but he got onto Facebook and he got with Zuckerberg and things like that, but he was really just like, some guy that did drugs and things like that, and that just reminded me of the guy that did Firefest. He was just some like, you know, guy that had an idea, and he really didn't have that kind of money, and he just created this thing. And I can't remember, did he actually make money? He made a lot of money
I'm
off of
I'm
that.
sure he did until he got
Yeah,
sued.
yeah, until he
Um,
got sued.
but
But
it really emphasizes his whole sentiment of act like you belong.
mhm.
There's one joke that people say that it's if you carry a ladder, you can get into like any concert
Oh, I heard,
or like
yeah, yeah,
anything.
any
And it's
place,
like
yeah,
if you get caught doing something, you just act like you belong and like you you're supposed to be there.
right,
And chances are you'll be fine. Like I've
right,
read so many stories about people going to events and they don't even get questioned because they just act like they belong there. And if you look like you're trying to fit in,
mhm,
people are going to spot you
right,
because they're like something suspicious. But if you just act like you do fit in and you think you fit in, then you're going to fit in with the crowd because everyone at that crowd thinks they fit in. Nobody's
right,
trying to fit in with the crowd.
right,
And you just merge and become one of them and you can get away with anything.
yeah,
But yeah, I've always wanted to try that ladder thing. We should try that again. We go to like a venue and we both carry a ladder wearing some vest or something.
mm,
You just walk in. They don't stop you.
sure. I just won't carry ID on me
Yeah,
in case we
that's
get
smart.
caught.
Excuse me.
Today is this is the first official episode since we've
Since
graduated, though.
yeah, so
Yeah,
congratulations actually to all of our fellow graduates, all of our Klein graduates, all of our American
yeah,
and world
our
graduates. You've
peers.
graduated in the midst of a pandemic and a global protest. So
Yeah, did you see the video I posted on my story the
no,
day of graduation? Oh, well,
is
I
it the one where
posted
you
it.
fell?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. That video was hilarious.
yeah. I was hoping that they would put it on the cap toss thing, but they cut it out. They cut
Yeah,
out the
I was watching it.
yeah,
I was like, "Hey, mom. My friend submitted a video. And he tripped. I want to see it." And she put it on
yeah,
the TV. But the really astounding thing was that my mom, and I don't want to get political about anything, but
sure.
my mom called me into her room. She was like, I'm not gonna, because I'm not really big on doing stuff,
Hmm.
so I didn't really want to do any of this fancy graduation stuff.
Yeah.
But she wanted me to do the turning of the tassel on the live stream.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think it was really a unique and interesting experience to be in my mom's room, turning my tassel while I could hear rioters and police people on the TV in the living room screaming
Right.
and yelling. I think that's like
It's
just so
definitely a
unique
unique
for
experience.
our generation. It's
Yeah.
going to be a defining moment. Just because in the midst, I don't know, 2020 has really um,
Yeah.
gone downhill.
It's just a wild card of a
Yeah,
year.
and I think it's a little funny that everyone was like, due to coronavirus, everyone was a little disappointed that they weren't
Right.
having a normal graduation. I
Hmm.
think it's much more interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
I
what
mean, sure.
class in the last? Sorry, no what?
I mean, sure. Sure. There's some things that I would have loved to have participated in and have would have been able to do normally, but it's definitely like, I mean, no one else has really gone through this. I mean, sure. I'm sure there's been something, but it's very unique. It's a very unique experience. That so far, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, and
Depending on.
again, I don't want to get too political about it, but the protests and stuff, I think Corona and the quarantine and all of
Hmm.
that really lent itself to this level of protest
Hmm.
and just people going out and doing. I mean, we've all been locked away for
Yeah.
at least 2 months now. I think we haven't had the struggles and worries. We've been able to pay attention to what's going on
Right.
in our world and focus more on different things. You know, we're always. I feel like personally, like when I had a job, I guess I was
Hmm.
so focused on getting out of school, getting to work on time, getting home, getting my homework done when I
The
felt
day
like
to
doing my
day.
homework. Yeah, exactly. There was something I was constantly doing. Um, and I would sit sometimes with news on in the background. I'd read articles. I would still keep up.
Hmm.
But really in normal life you don't have time to worry about some things.
True.
And again, not trying to get political or anything, but stuff like what happened to George Floyd has happened before.
Right.
And there always is some sort of protest or uproar, but I think again,
Right.
coronavirus really lent itself to this scale that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
So I think,
Definitely.
yeah, it sucks that we're out of school, but it's really lent itself to some pretty big, decade defying. It's a great, not a great,
Definitely.
it's a huge start to the decade, and it's really lent itself to some decade defying milestones.
No, that's true. That's true. Um, it's crazy how um for how however long quarantine, I guess, and stuff has been in place, say like 2 months. Um, I was sitting on my couch the other day, and I was thinking, oh, it's summer, and it doesn't feel any different than it has for 2 months.
Yeah, we've been
Um,
living in summer for
yeah, pretty much.
there's 104 days of summer vacation now. And quite frankly, I would prefer to be building roller coasters. I've just been sitting around
Or fighting a mummy.
or locating Frankenstein's brain, really.
That's true.
But I think for those that aren't too financially or socially or emotionally impacted by quarantine, it's really opened up a lot of doors. Like when quarantine first started, of course, there's people who are suffering financially. They can't work, so
Hmm.
they can't afford their rent, their mortgage, whatever
Right.
they need to do. But
Right.
then there's also the other side of things, and I'm not trying to obviously just get rid of those people's problems, but there's the other side of things that you see people partaking in things they actually enjoy for once because they have
Yeah.
time. I really liked being on social media for once
Hmm.
because aside from some coronavirus posts, you would just see people playing their instruments or
Yeah.
painting or taking photos.
Right.
And like it's great to see that whenever we don't have all these societal pressures, there's people able to partake in their passion. And
Hmm.
yeah, Daniel, is there anything you've been doing in particular, like in quarantine to keep yourself from
Um,
going stir crazy or whatever?
it's crazy. I like to, boast that I'm a photographer, and that's
But
literally
we
what
all
my
know it's
Instagram
not
account
true.
is about.
No.
But no, no. But I think if anything, this whole thing should have really kind of given the perfect opportunity to kind of hone in on it. But honestly, I've just been at home just trying to kind of relax and really just be in the moment. So whether it's just sleeping in until 12 or being able to sit down and play a video game and not really have to worry about, okay, I need to be up by this time. I only have 30 minutes. I don't really have to be stressed about time anymore. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's funny that you mentioned the photography thing because I also like to take photos and go out and stuff. And like every day, or at least once a week, I'd say like, oh man, like there's such great photo opportunities out there right
right,
now. Like everything's empty. I could
right.
get in somewhere and take some photos,
Mhm,
and make a nice little album.
mhm.
And then I say that while I'm just like swiping through my
Right.
phone,
Right.
but because it's just honest, it's easier. It is
Yeah,
easier. That's honestly
definitely,
why I didn't do anything.
definitely.
But
I think that's
I think I agree also though with the I just like, well, personally it's a back and forth. I've got some, I deal with some emotional troubles just being locked away because it's very boring and I get very bored very easily, which is
yeah,
very depressing to just be bored all
mhm,
day.
yeah,
But on the other hand, it is nice to just be on a game,
yeah,
like, and I'm having fun and I'm not worried
right,
like, oh, I shouldn't play one more game
right,
because I have to get back to this or that,
right.
or I shouldn't watch one more episode. But
Mhm.
I try to still limit myself because whenever you just sit there and indulge, it is kind of like mind numbing.
Yeah.
And I say
No,
that
that's
while we have been playing games for like the last 12 hours.
yeah.
But no, I try to take a step back sometimes because it is a little
Right.
strange to not have these
Right.
barriers.
It is, it definitely is.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know. We're just living in a completely not different world from anything anyone's ever experienced, but I think anyone no, actually, yeah, I think different from anyone's ever experienced. We've
Yeah.
got all this advanced technology that we can talk to people from home,
Yeah,
push a couple of buttons, and you send a no, or you push a couple buttons and you got someone on the other side.
right.
And we could see. I can look at Vegas from here.
Mhm.
You know, so we're
Yeah,
just definitely living in something no one else has lived through, which
yeah.
is astounding and it's horrifying, but it's something.
Yeah, it's true. Um, technology is always ever evolving and, well, speaking of technology, that is we have Nest in our in our
What's
house,
that?
so it can be a variety of things. You can have a thermostat, um, uh, like a window shatter like monitor, in your house, but you can also have like cameras and
Mm.
automatic locks and stuff. And so actually everything I've named is what we have.
So it's like a
Um,
smart home connection system.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And so we have some cameras, and for about 2 weeks or so, we've had a raccoon problem. Uh, and it was cool because I love raccoons, but it's gotten to the point where it goes in our trash like every single night. And so I get Nest notifications, and I just got one um, that there's motion in my backyard, and I'm pretty sure that's a raccoon because it likes to come at like two
It's
something in
actually
the
a dude
morning.
just breaking in. Like
Watch
these
it be.
dang raccoons,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
trash
it's
bandits.
mhm. Yeah, I love raccoons, man.
I mean, just think about that for a second, though. You just got a notification that something moved outside your house.
Mm,
I don't know, it's crazy. You know what I hate about technology, though?
mm,
With like these, I guess, consumer technology, like
mhm.
phones and computers, the rate at which they improve is directly like, or is like inversely proportional
Yeah,
to the cost. So
yeah,
like
that's
if your
true.
phone gets a little better, the cost is gonna become a lot higher.
Right.
It's so weird. Like when we make like huge advancements in computers, all this good stuff goes down in price, but
Mhm.
like this tiny advancement goes up like
Yeah.
$1,000 instead of like probably what it's actually worth. Like these I think it was funny, the Apple, I don't know if it was this year or last year, they released that new computer
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wheels cost $900 or something.
yeah.
The wheels, man. Like, why do you even need to move your computer around that much?
You know, the rich, the elite have the elite things.
Yeah, there you go. Hey guys, you
Um,
want to see my computer? Sure. Oh, I'll be right back. And he just rolls it out into the
Yeah,
dining
yeah.
room.
I mean,
And
you,
then you got to get wheels for your monitor, and
yeah,
it's just,
your in your desk
dude, just
and
put wheels on your
your
desk and
ports.
add a motor
Yeah.
and a generator, so you can keep everything plugged in. Actually, I would be down for something like that. Drive around my computer, and then I'd be like one of those really hardcore gamers who call it their battle station.
Jesus.
You ever see that before?
No.
You're not you're sort of recent PC gamer, right? Like fairly recent.
Um, Not really, but I've only recently gotten back onto it.
Okay.
I haven't really played in a
Back in
while.
the day, I used to play CS:GO quite a bit. Not a lot. I was never really great, but
Hmm.
I would friend like a lot of people and play with a lot of strangers.
Hmm.
And you would go onto someone's profile, and it would say "My Battle Station" and give like all the specs of their computer,
Hmm.
and you could tell that they were like gonna go off in a game of
Right,
CS:GO if their if their Steam account said that.
right.
It was great.
Oh, it's like like how the pirates would have their black sails
Yeah,
or
and
the
you'd be
black
like, "Oh
flags.
dang, it's over.
You would know, yeah.
Get out of here."
Uh,
You know, I had some money left
hmm.
during quarantine, so I went and I bought some stuff thinking it would keep me occupied for a long time because I got ADHD, so it's really hard for me to just sit down and do something.
Right.
But then I remembered that I also hyper focus sometimes if I'm like super interested in something, which is why I
Yeah.
get so like lost in my games. I'll sit down and be playing
Mhm.
a game and I'll become hyper focused and I won't be able to stop.
Right.
I bought a little model ATST, which is a two-legged Star Wars walker for those of you
Yeah.
who don't know. Um, and I was putting it together. I was like, I'll do like, I don't know, like 15 minutes every day so that it'll last. So I did my 15 minutes or whatever, packed it
Uh-huh.
away, went to my room, got on the floor and finished it. Because like I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like
Right.
I was like, okay, now I'm just gonna watch TV or something. And like the thought kept jumping in my head and it was like, hey, you have that thing. And I was like,
Right.
oh no. And it's like, oh no, but you have that thing. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm barely walking to my room and I'm getting this. Like,
Right.
hey, do this thing. I'm like, no, let me just slide in under my bed. Okay, let me just open it up. Maybe I'll just put the legs together before I put it away. Next thing you know, it's done. And then I was like, frick. So the next day, I went, um, and I think I was hanging out with someone or I
Hmm.
was alone. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the comic book store. And you know, the one major pet peeve I have with coronavirus is
Hmm.
my nearest comic book store. Um, I forgot what it was called. I think it was just comics is what was
Hmm.
on the front. It was a small little business tucked away. Had some like frequent customers. It's
Yeah.
gone now because they couldn't stay open
Oh
because
wow.
they were closed for so long. It sucks.
Yeah.
So now I got to go all the way down um, Student Airline
Hmm.
to like Half Price Books. They have
Hmm.
comics there, and next door is Bedrock City.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if any of you guys listening are comic book readers, but Bedrock City is pretty
Probably
nice.
not.
They got what I do is I go in Bedrock City and I'll look for a comic that seems interesting, and I'll go next door to Half Price and see if they have it. But I went to Bedrock, and yes, I was alone. I was alone, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, instead of buying a comic, I'm just gonna get a book, like a graphic novel book that has
Right.
all the comics put into one.
Hmm.
And I bought Watchmen, and man, it
Oh
was
yeah.
such a good read.
Yeah. I haven't read anything in a while. I have multiple books that I have yet to read and that I wouldn't mind reading over.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind reading over. But I don't know. With the whole abundance of time that we have now, for some reason, I'd rather just be doing something that I have been doing
Hmm.
before quarantine and just give more time to that.
Yeah. With
Um,
this, oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I had a burp. With this Watchmen, I was like, I'm gonna read a chapter a day.
Hmm.
I don't remember how many. I already gave the book away because I told my friend about it and she wanted to read it.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, I'm gonna read a chapter a day, so that I have some, something to do.
Right.
Read like half the book the first day. I was like, okay, I
Hmm.
gotta stop. Next day, I was completely distracted. 11 o'clock comes around. I see the book. I pick it up, and it was finished at 6 a.m.
Oh my god.
Because there was like a bunch of extra reading material in there also.
Right.
And like
Right.
whenever I read my comics, I like to like actually take in the photos. Like
Yeah.
one, I don't know, you'll probably hear this from a lot of comic fans or readers, is that like when you get these sort of things, they're reprints, so the paintings are a little off.
Sure.
They're reprints, so obviously they're not going to look like the originals when it comes to the
Right.
coloring and the inking, but they look fine. And I'm really trying. I try to take in like all the little
Hmm.
aspects of the art, and
Yeah.
like I like to. I'm very imaginative, and I'm hyper focused on the book while I'm reading it. So I'm
Hmm.
like imagining these whole scenarios as if like they're being played out, because I know there's a movie and there's a show. And I'm like, I
Hmm.
wonder how this is gonna play out in the movie.
Right.
Then I looked it up, and apparently the movie's garbage, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I would recommend that to anyone who's interested in even just getting into comics. And I'm always bringing it to this political thing, but it's very. I was talking to someone about it, and it is
Hmm.
very relevant today. Like, I guess that's sort
Yeah.
of the thing with art,
Yeah.
societal or society critical art, is that it's
Mhm.
always very relevant, because you sort of realize that not a lot of things change. Like they talk about
Yeah.
like sort of stuff regarded to like the struggles of being a woman, the struggles
Mhm.
of power, like of like presidential power,
Yeah.
of not like specifically, but like having that level of power, and what
Yeah.
happens whenever certain people are given higher power, and like the treatment of women, like all this stuff, treatment of
Right.
certain people. And it's a good read, because it's the thing about comics and books, is that they sort of address these serious topics in a way that's more absorbable, I guess you could say, but it
Yeah.
doesn't water it down.
Right.
Some comics, of course, like they are sort of targeted to a younger audience, but this Watchmen comic, especially, it's graphic. It these the heroes aren't like Superman, where their biggest trouble is making sure Lois Lane doesn't get captured.
Right.
They've actually got human issues. Some of them are racist.
Hmm.
Some of them are targeted by homophobic people. Like they're
Right.
humans. That's what I like about certain stories. Like good writers can. That's why certain stories are so timeless. A good writer can make a story timeless by creating human characters
Yeah.
instead of just characters. And I
Right.
think that's one of the hardest things. I've always liked writing. I've always
Hmm.
been horrible at writing dialogue, because to capture the essence of humanity is
Right.
so extremely hard.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Are there
Yeah.
any like let me think. Have you ever read a book where you're like, this is like how books should,
Hmm.
like this is one of the best books I've written. I want people to know about this book, because if there is, I want you to like put that book out there, because right now people have time to read. You can
Yeah.
find books online, illegal or illegal, or legal or illegal. No comment on that. But
Um.
like people have free time, and reading
Yeah.
is it's good, and it really opens your eyes to stuff.
Um. I guess on the topic of like modern relevance, I think I'm probably I've not a lot of people are probably gonna agree because there's a different book that is far more popular. But the Divergent series, I've read all of
What's
those
the more
books.
popular book?
The Hunger Games.
Yeah, I thought so. I couldn't remember. I knew
Yeah,
that it was similar to something.
yeah, the Hunger Games. But I think the Divergent series is a little more relevant because it's not about just picking people and having them pit against each other, no matter, the societal, whatever classifications. It's more of a literal grouping of people and how they're supposed to be balanced, but there really isn't, and there is definitely a higher power. Um, and ultimately, through the books, and even there are the slums, and there are the outcasts and people that have been rejected by a civilization that is supposed to have a place for everyone. Um, and I think it not only is it relevant now, it is just for me, it was a good read. Um, and I mean, I used
Yeah,
to
I
have a
mean,
book
even
club
then,
with my
relevance isn't super important when it comes to reading a
yeah,
book. Like, a good read is a good read. I've read plenty of
yeah,
books that I
definitely.
would absolutely
You
recommend to
know,
someone, but
Where the Red Fern Grows.
don't even, dude. Don't, please.
I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is such a good book. I
what
need
a
to read it again.
story.
It was an
Those,
amazing book.
those beautiful. There was a movie too. Old movie.
Yeah, I have the
My mom
movie.
showed me. Dude, it
Mhm.
was just this.
Yeah, it is
You
such
know,
a
I've
good
got
book.
an old dog,
Mhm.
and she's getting up to that age, and
Yeah,
we've been in the talks about
yeah,
what should go about regarding her health and stuff.
right.
And like, but I wish I had never read that book because I'm always thinking like,
Yeah.
dude, if like my dog passes away or if we have to put her down,
Mhm.
and like my other dogs would be like, like you can't. Whenever a person dies, you can explain that to someone. You can talk to them and tell them, you know, people pass away, they're no longer with us.
Right.
You understand that you can't create new experiences and thoughts and ideas with that person. But with like a pet or like, I don't know, you just can't. You wish, you know, that they have feelings and you know that they probably feel some sort of negative emotions
Yeah,
regarding that, and there's no way for you to address it. And that's
right.
terrible.
Yeah, uh my dog of 11 years, he really lived to be 14, but we've had him for 11. He passed away suddenly in 2017. Uh, he was old. I mean, obviously, 14 years.
Yeah.
It's long for a dog, but even still, I never really had thought about kind of that because he was showing no signs of a deterioration in health. He was just stayed the same. He was a really
Yeah.
relaxed dog. He was great. And I remember just one day, he lived in my grandparents' house,
Hmm.
and they just called us and said like, "Hey, he's not doing good. He can't get up. He can't walk, and whenever he does, he just doesn't have the strength, and he keeps collapsing." And it was heartbreaking because the next morning we went over there, and I got up, and he was so excited. I got inside, and his bed was kind of a little bit past the foyer. And he was so excited to see me, and he tried to get up and run to me, but he couldn't, and he
Oh,
just, like, fell forward, and he kept getting up and falling, and it was heartbreaking,
I'm
and,
sorry.
no, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
and
I haven't. The only pet I lost was, I don't even remember when, years and years ago. It wasn't even
mhm,
mine. That's the best part. Me and my older brother had guinea pigs. His
mhm.
was Lenny, I think, from what's it called? Wonder Pets.
Oh, yeah,
And I
yeah,
remember when he passed away, and I was small. It was confusing. It was really
sure,
confusing.
yeah,
And now I'm at the age where death, makes sense. It's
mhm,
something you think about.
yeah,
And even then, you never. I personally have not lost anyone like close to me
yeah,
to the point where I'm like deeply hurt or grieving.
yeah,
But I know, I'm getting older. Everyone else is getting older, and eventually I'm gonna lose someone
right.
really close to me. And like, even though you understand those concepts, like, it's
You
weird
never
that
really
it's a thing that's been happening for centuries,
yeah,
beyond centuries,
yeah,
and it's nothing we can truly comprehend. We've Since
right,
our creation, we've created religion and different ideologies of what happens beyond death, and truly
right,
nobody has any idea.
right.
It's crazy.
It is, and I I mean, I think some people can, but and I'm sure some people have, but it's it's hard to, I guess, prepare for it all. Because I mean, again, for me, I couldn't. And Benji, which was my late dog, he's really the only person that I've lost that I mean that I can really recall, um, that has been close to me. I haven't really. I've been blessed to not really lose any family members that are close that I grew up with. Um, I mean, I remember it was a span of I think 2 or 3 days, and it was the day that we got the call, and then I went over and I spent the night at my grandma's, and then the next like by midday we were going and driving him to the ER to have him put down. Um, and I wasn't prepared for that, but I think I could have been. But even still, I mean, just like you said, I mean, we're both 18, and it's as we're getting older, the people around us are getting older, and death is inevitable. I mean, it could happen to us before it could happen to
Yeah.
anyone else that is quote unquote it for it to be planned, right? um
Hmm.
and even still, I know I probably could never prepare for any of that. um
Yeah, I think even, I mean, I've been accepting of death for a long time,
mhm,
but even then, you can accept mortality and still be devastated by it. And I think that's
definitely.
just, you know, both horrifying and fascinating.
No, definitely. um at one point I would have what are they called, existential crises, like an
Oh,
existential
yeah, I
crisis.
still get those
And
crises, plural.
crises, crisi.
Crisis, there
um
you go.
and the idea of I need to watch. I say I'm gonna watch How I Say This, but I'm really not. The idea of death had like it would fascinate me, and not really like, you know, it was just
I
what
understand what you're saying,
happened.
yeah.
And it's no one. I mean, obviously, at one point we'll find out one way or another, you know, but until then, no, we don't really know, and
And that's not like
it's
on anyone's, like, against whatever you believe, or,
yeah,
whatever you or your family believes. It's just like, quite frankly, a matter of fact that we don't 100% know.
right. And in a way, it's scary. I mean, it right now it's not scary. I mean, because again, we're 18. While we
We're in
don't have
that
to worry about
stage
that,
where, even though we know we're not, we feel invincible.
yeah,
And
and
I sort of despise that feeling because, like, I know that I'm not, and I know that eventually, my body will deteriorate and I won't be able to do any of the things I do now. Like,
right.
I was telling Danny about this. I was skateboarding, and I fell and hit my knee, or not my knee, but my shin below my knee,
Mm-hmm.
and it swelled up, and it was hurting really bad. And the next day, I tripped and fell, hit the same spot,
Hmm.
could barely stand up, and I was like, I I've never broken a bone in my body.
Hmm.
That's just me. But
Yeah,
like, in that moment, I was certain that I had like fractured something, like,
yeah,
because I could barely put weight on it. I was falling,
mhm,
and I was like, it sort of brings you back to reality that, um, you're human and you can be
yeah,
damaged.
mm,
It's sort of weird.
yeah. And it's like the age-old saying, you never really know what you have until you lose it. And it's
Exactly.
like when you get sick and you can't breathe, right? You envy those that don't, there aren't congested, and um,
I hate that feeling too, where you're like,
yeah,
you pull in through your nose and it's just, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just
it's just
blocked.
blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sometimes it can get scary too when you're going to sleep and it's like really congested.
Yeah, you're like
That's a
thinking about
great
it.
time.
Like,
Yeah.
when I was younger, I would get really sick, like really bad, really sick, which I guess
Hmm.
it sort of runs with my family. My mom gets really sick. She's been, more physically ill. She's
Yeah.
was in the hospital, not a lot, but a fair bit when I was younger.
Hmm.
And I remember when I was very small, I would get sick to the point where I would have like hallucinations of sorts. I think it was probably just my unrecognized, or at the time undiagnosed, anxiety, and it was
Hmm.
probably just panic attacks induced by my sickness.
Right.
Where I would be, like, for example, I would go to my parents' room and sleep because I was
Hmm.
sick. I would sleep on their floor, like, because I felt horrible,
Hmm.
and I would wake up needing to use the bathroom.
Mhm.
And I don't know why, but I was fully convinced while I'm sitting there trying to use the bathroom that
Mhm.
if I like didn't finish peeing in a certain amount of time, that a
Mhm.
bomb would go off and like destroy the world. And it's
Right.
funny now, right? Like it's
Yeah.
hilarious because like obviously that I'm sure
Right.
well either one of two things happened. There was no bomb or I finished peeing in the right amount of time. But
Right.
back then it was horrifying. Like, and I think
Yeah.
about it, I'm like, my mind is capable of creating these false realities.
Mhm.
I walked back to my room before and I stopped halfway and I broke down crying because I was exhausted. Because in my mind, and somehow I felt the same, in my mind, I had walked thousands of miles and I couldn't make it to my room because it was thousands more. And I
Right.
passed out there on the floor, like in the living room.
Right.
And it's just,
Jesus.
I mean, the human mind itself, in
Yeah.
regard to life, death, everything in between, sickness,
Mhm.
is just fascinating. We can create these
Definitely.
false reality. Like we lay down, think about it, you dream,
Mhm.
and you're creating entirely believable, or not, well, not maybe not believable, but you're conceiving an entire world.
Right.
It's
And
just insane.
it's even crazier still that we don't even know how or why we have dreams.
Yeah.
Even that we have these, vivid and crazy dreams, and yet still we don't know why.
Do you have
Why
any
we
theories,
have them.
Daniel, with no evidence or anything? Like, if you had to make up a theory, I want you to make up a theory right now. Why do we dream?
Why we dream. I mean,
If you need some time, I just thought of one.
yeah, go for it.
Okay, so maybe when we dream, it's like a collection of thoughts that our brain considers like okay, maybe we won't need that or reuse that anytime soon. Let's just toss it out.
Mm,
We're not going to be recalling that, or maybe it's in fact the opposite. It's we might need this information sometime, like this, like whatever your world design of your dream is, the set, the people you see, the things you hear. We might need this information. Let's make sure it stays fresh and we're
mhm,
able to recall it when we need it.
mhm.
Or my original thought that we probably won't be needing this. Let's just throw it out and
Right,
use it up.
right.
But that's
It's
like probably the stupidest thing I've ever said.
no, it's actually interesting. One of the last things that we covered in my psychology class before COVID, um, was like cognitive things like that, and how we don't know why we dream, but yet there are these like 7 or 8 theories on why, and that is one of them. Either
Oh,
I can't
well,
remember which one, but it's either the brain trying to remember things that we learned or discovered
what can I
um
say? I'm a natural
day.
psychologist.
It was interesting. They did a study, and they showed a bunch of these kids, like kids, like maybe 5 at most. These
Toddlers is what they're called, Daniel.
Yeah, toddlers.
Kid
These
kids.
like well, yeah, it's
Do you
3:40
hear my little
in the
brother
morning.
making those sounds?
No, I don't.
I'm sure the people listening, well, that was hilarious. That was not hilarious. It was weird. Anyway,
Uh,
you continue.
they showed these toddlers like weird kind of toys, and they gave them odd names, like strange, weird names. And half the kids were sent out to have lunch and play for a few hours. The
Mm.
other half were sent to sleep, like to take a nap.
Bro, I
And
wish I could make kids sleep like that. What the heck? Okay, that sounds weird. But
um,
I've
and
babysat before, dude. These kids, like, all right, it's time for a
I,
nap. Nah, bro,
dude,
let's
I have
run
to,
around and throw crap. What is
I
wrong with you
know,
people?
I have younger siblings.
Oh
One
yeah,
of them
dude.
is
Your
hard.
little brother or whatever comes in the room while you're playing all the time.
There's my sister.
Oh, is it
Well,
your
yeah,
sister?
my brother comes in, but he's on like just. It's my sister that comes in with the
Oh,
toys, like
yeah.
and everything. It's cute, but um, yeah, being able to put toddlers, just when it's time to go to bed, it's time to go to
Just
bed.
get a rag with some chloroform. And you just
No.
slowly lowering them. Shh, it's time to go to bed.
Shh,
It's time for bed. Shh, it's okay.
I remember there's one point where my sister, she'd be up at like 2 in the morning, like running around, not going, still haven't, you know, it
What
still
are they
hasn't gone
putting in
to
the
sleep.
milk these days, dude?
I don't even know, dude. But
I remember I used to stay up late to watch Adult Swim. It would come on. There would be Nickelodeon,
Mhm.
then Nick at Night,
Yeah, Nick at Night.
and then for Cartoon Network there was Cartoon Network, and then Adult Swim.
Yeah, like
I'd stay
Robot
up to
Chicken.
watch. Yeah, Robot Chicken was so
Yeah.
good. I used to love
I
that
never
show.
watched it. I never watched like Adult
Really,
Swim. Yeah,
I can't even
super.
think. There was that show on Adult Swim with the meatball and the cup and the French
Oh
fries.
yeah,
I don't remember
that
what it's
thing.
called, but that show was
I never
so funny. It
watched
was
it.
so
I've
weird.
seen clips from that.
There's a clip that I love, and it's literally just these two guys talking for like a couple minutes, I think,
Hmm.
and just about the weirdest crap. It's like in the middle of their conversation, and it just jumps into it.
Right.
And then one of the characters just walks over and is listening, and then after the whole conversation, he's like, what are you doing here?" It was so funny.
Uh, On the topic of like sleep and stuff, the other day I answered a spam call without knowing without knowing it was a spam
I
call,
thought you had
and
an
the
iPhone.
call. Yeah, well, I was asleep. It woke me up, and so I
Okay,
just answered.
okay.
I thought it was Alexis calling me. Um, and I answered it, and it was so it wasn't robotic to the point where I could tell, but it sounded like a person. And they're asking me about something. I was like, no, I'm good, or like, no, I don't need it. I can't remember, but they ended up going through it anyway, and I was just like, yeah, okay, fine. And so they were asking me, like, um,
Social Security. What
no,
was his
no,
maiden name?
they asked me like two or three questions, and it was the last two were what is the highest form of education that you got? I was like, high school GED. And then they said, or what's your graduation year? And I go, 2020. And the call hangs up. And I'm sitting there, like, still practically asleep. And I thought, what just happened? And I rolled over and fell back asleep. And I woke up and I'm like, was that a dream or did I just answer a spam call
Oh,
while I was
dude, have you
asleep?
ever the opposite happened where you have a dream and you're not sure if it was a dream?
Yeah, yeah, I've had a few of those.
Those are so I
Yeah.
hate those. The worst
I had,
ones are where
yeah.
you wake up, go about your day, get dressed, go to school,
Oh
you're halfway
God.
through the day, and then you hear a sound and
And
you wake up and you're like, what?
yeah, no. The amount of times I've had those dreams, that's so
Those aren't dreams,
frustrating.
those are nightmares.
Honestly, it's so fr because I hate waking up in the morning. I'm not a
Bro,
morning
who
person.
doesn't? Who doesn't hate waking up in the
I,
morning?
I hate waking up in the morning. And so having a dream where you're being productive and you're getting up, you're getting dressed and everything, you're getting ready for the day, so all groggy and tired, and then you wake up to your alarm clock and you haven't done any of that. It's the worst. It reminds me of a nightmare I once had. Um, it wasn't like during school or anything,
Mm.
but I was just sleeping in late, and I was younger, so I was sleeping with my grandparents, and I was sleeping in their bed, and I had a dream. And I guess it was real because, well,
What was
the
this
the
last
beginning
year?
aspect was real. Yeah, actually, no, no, but my grandpa was trying to wake me up for breakfast. And so he was calling me, and it was like Inception. It was like dream within a dream of the same thing. I would
Oh,
wake
I
up
hate
in the
that.
bed, and I would get up, and then something would happen, and then I'd wake up, and something else would happen, and then I wake up again. And the weirdest part was the final one, where I was being sucked in, like into the
What?
bathroom because like the bed is
Uh,
like facing the bathroom because it's the master bedroom and I was like being sucked in, and my grandpa like somehow he like grabbed me and saved me, and then I woke up for real, and my grandpa was standing right where he was in my dream. Um, and that's like I was like, okay, I'm getting up.
that's some
And
poltergeist
I
stuff,
woke
dude.
up. Yeah, it was weird. It was so weird. I remember it so vividly.
That seems like a really cool movie scene, though.
I had another dream like that, but that it was actually horrifying, at least
I've
for me.
I've never had a dream like that, but I was started on this new medicine like 2 years ago, maybe, and I took it, and I don't know what happened, but I was in this weird state of mind where like it felt like excuse me.
Mhm.
It felt like things were repeating, like
Yeah.
that time was kind of looping back.
Right.
And so I'm laying in bed, and the weird thing is I don't even remember if I slept this night, right? Which I'm
Mhm.
sure I did, but like I
Mhm.
must have like passed out without knowing.
Right.
And I'm watching YouTube, and I'm laying there, and I'm like, dude, it's been like an hour. How is this video not over yet?
Mhm.
And I click on it, and it says like 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, whatever. And the video was playing first off. I want to point that out because I
Yeah.
told the story to someone. They're like, was the video paused? I was like, no, I was listening to them talk. Maybe it
Right.
was paused, but I was listening to them talk. It was like a
Yeah.
podcast type video
Yeah.
where they were talking about stuff. And so I'm
Right.
like, whatever, dude, I'm going to try to sleep.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, oh, did I just wake up? It feels like it's been an hour. Like felt like I was asleep.
Mhm.
So I go and I check the time, and like the time hasn't changed. And I check the video, and it's at like 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll just try to get some sleep.
Mhm.
And then remember closing my eyes and then being like, oh, geez, I must have fallen asleep. And
Uh-huh.
then like I turn and look at the phone, same thing. And then in my head, I was like, this has already happened. But then I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to try to get some sleep. And then it happened
Wow.
again.
Yeah.
And like every time it happened in my head, I'm thinking like, this is repeating. Like this has already happened. Like what is going on? But then I would have the thought, oh, I'm just going to try to get some sleep. And then it happened so many times. It happened like 10 times, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember rolling over like, oh, what time is it? And the sun was up. And I was like, what the heck? Like, it felt like
Uh-huh.
no time passed between me.
Right.
Like, it felt like not no time, but it felt like I closed my eyes,
Mhm.
rolled over. Oh, what time is it? And this
Mhm.
time the sun was up, though. It was the weirdest
That's
feeling ever. It's like
you were just
there's a maybe I was just dreaming it. That's the thing. Like, it was so vivid that it could have been a
right.
dream. Could have just
Right.
been some weird dream because this medicine, like, I
Mhm.
hadn't been on this medicine before. It was finally working. Or like the medicine just put me in a weird state of mind where I was like some not hallucinating but
Yeah.
having delusions of sorts where I was convinced I was in that time loop. But the weird thing was like even though I was thinking like, oh dude, this is repeating, I kept going through the motion. Like it felt like it was repeating from the first time and I wasn't able to
Yeah.
change it, but like that I knew it was repeating now. It was so
I
weird.
think you're just in purgatory for a little while, and then they
Dude,
just
I died. I overdosed on one pill, on a
they're just
one
saying,
low dosage.
yeah. You never know.
Or maybe I took it and was like, "Oh, did I take my medicine?" And then took it,
Yeah.
and then I was like,
To
"Oh,
get
it's been a while. Have I taken my medicine?" And then I took it, and then
That's
it
exactly.
repeated when I laid down for bed.
And then they just they replaced it with the idea of you waking up over and over.
They didn't want me to
Never
have
know.
the trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was saying, just the mind is such a weird thing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
uh,
Anyway, look, guys,
that's
it's
why.
3:50. We started at 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been
Jeez.
about.
Anyways, what were you gonna say? And then we'll try to wrap it up.
No, I was just saying like that's why I was so interested in psychology and why I was gonna major in it. I was up until 2 days ago. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about that, did I?
I
Oh
I
yeah,
think you
yeah, I
did.
did.
I think you did. And you're doing accounting?
Yeah, accounting now.
That's interesting, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously accounting's not interesting, but
Mhm.
it's interesting
Oh,
to. I don't think accounting's interesting. I've never
sure.
done. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good at that sort of stuff,
Right.
but my
It's
problem is anytime I've ever been good at something, I lose interest.
sure. It's not. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, accounting. That's awesome. But
Hey, it makes you good money. It's
yeah,
if it's
it's more of a stable job.
yeah, that's yeah,
It can provide me a lot more opportunities, and I think that's
that's
just the
more
best thing.
important than having an interesting job, anyways.
Yeah,
One
that's true.
second, I'm gonna check the time, like that we've been
Sure.
going.
It's been about like 55 minutes, give or
Yeah,
take.
that's crazy. It's been 55 minutes and 51 seconds. You were spot on.
Yeah.
But
Um,
okay, thanks for
yeah.
stealing my line.
Well,
But
do you
is
have?
my thing.
Oh,
Anyways, you can say it. Go ahead.
but do you have any closing
Closing
Answer.
remarks. I mean, I said in the beginning, congrats on graduating for
Yeah.
everyone that cares. Have fun at prom. Or I guess
Oh,
there's probably going to be more episodes before then, but
yeah.
have fun at prom, whoever cares.
Mhm.
Um, I bought some googly eyes. If anyone wants them, I realize they're not the type that just stick on. I need to glue them, so I don't
Oh,
need them. If anyone's in the market for googly eyes, just let me know.
glue eyes. Do you also need glue? Glue sold separately.
And yeah, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, and guys, please spam Daniel and tell him to meet me at McDonald's for once. Because every time I ask him to meet me at McDonald's for a drink, because that's the only place I can get a cheap drink, being Sprite, he's like, I'm busy. So
I, I have been pretty busy.
spam him um, and get
Please
him out of
don't.
the house. Or, I mean, out of the house into my hands at least. Ooh.
Into
Get him
your
out of the
hand.
house into McDonald's.
Into man. It's so far, dude.
Dude, it's across the street. Guys, it's across the street from his house. It's not
Uh,
even 5 minutes. Not even
yeah,
2 minutes,
not even.
probably.
Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ladies, if you're single, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I
Okay,
mean,
well, it was a
go for
joke,
it.
so
But,
it was a joke.
mhm.
It was a joke, Daniel. Look at my profile picture. It's a
Yeah.
baby. It's a kid.
It's a kid. You're funny.
Anyways,
Where's
closing
my?
Daniel,
It's,
closing statements.
um. First few days of summer. Hopefully, everyone's been able
Dude,
to
this is
kind
the
of
second month of this is the third month of summer. I don't know what you're talking
technically,
about.
yeah.
No, wait, we
But
got out
hopefully,
in March.
mhm,
It's June.
yeah. Two months.
We got out at the beginning of
Oh,
March.
great. Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, we got out in the second week of March. It's been 3
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Well, either way, hopefully everyone's been
Dude,
able
we've already
to.
had a full summer.
Jesus, yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's gone so fast too. That kind of worries me.
Yeah. And
Um,
I mean, obviously, again, we're gonna be making more, and I hate to. No, I don't hate to. I love to stampede on Daniel's closing statements, but speaking of, it's going by fast. Good luck in college, guys.
oh yeah, definitely.
You're
I know
wasting your
there's a
money.
lot of I know there's a lot of uncertainties right now. I mean, you're going Lone Star,
Yeah,
which is
I'm
fine,
not wasting my
but
money.
yeah, for someone
I'll go
that has
to. I'll go waste my money eventually, but I'm not trying to
eventually,
waste it right out the gate.
yeah, I know that there's a lot of uncertainties right now with everything. So hopefully everyone is able to find some peace and tranquility within it all and be able to resolve everything. And hopefully everyone has, is able to work everything out because I know that right now it's really troubling.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I mean, whatever um, global trouble is causing you any sort of financial, emotional, any sort of anguish, I hope everything works out and you get through it.
definitely.
And you've got your
And
fair share of global issues to pick from.
right, yeah, that's true. So
2020, baby.
yeah. Do you want to close this off?
Yeah, so this is the Xth official episode.
Mhm.
X as in I don't
Seven.
know, so fill in the blank. Seventh. Yeah, we
I-
determined that at the beginning.
Yeah.
This is the seventh official episode of Downtown Coolsville. Late night downtown. This is a
Mhm.
late night in downtown Coolsville, or an early morning,
Yeah, early morning.
late night, early morning. What's the difference, right? Anyways, thanks for coming in. Thanks for. God, I'm
Nice.
tired. I think I'm not even tired, but I think mentally I'm suffering from not
I have to
sleep.
wake up in a few. I have to get groceries and I
Dude, that
have to
means you
talk to
don't go
an
to sleep.
advisor.
If you have to wake up in an hour or a couple hours, you don't go to sleep.
Watch me.
I would love to watch while you sleep.
No. Anyway.
Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week. I think we have people who wanted to be guests, but if you want to be a guest, reach out and we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
because this was a spur of the moment podcast. Daniel asked me who the guest was for the week. I didn't remember, so I said, let's record an episode. And quite frankly, I'm sorry to all of our previous guests, but I think this might be one of our cleanest episodes. I don't think
Yeah,
there's a single bleep.
we don't have to do a lot of editing. We
Yeah, I
just
don't
have
think
to
there's a single bleep in this episode. I just need to put the music in, maybe a couple
call
funny
it a day.
subtitles, some background. I don't know, something, and then peace out. I guess that's how I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it with
Yeah.
that, with the peace
All
out.
right.
It was a little cringe, guys, but yeah. So I said I'm gonna end it, but okay. You know what? Bye.
You're still recording.